This video I'm going to show you how to solve each of these. I know that we did most of them in class, but just in case somebody wasn't here. This first one, you can use synthetic or long division. I'm going to choose to use long division. It just works every time, so I'm going to use it. In long division, you divide the first term by the first term, which gives me 5x to the third. Multiply this times both of these, 5x to the fourth, plus 5x to the third, and then subtract both of these. So this subtract this is going to cancel out. Negative 1 minus 5 is going to be negative 6x to the third. Everything else comes down. Divide the first term by the first term, which is going to give me negative 6x squared. Multiply this times both of these. Negative 6x to the third minus 6x squared. Subtract both of those. These are going to cancel out. Negative 2 minus negative 6 is going to be 4. Bring everything else down. Divide the first term by the first term, which is going to be 4x. Multiply this times both of these. 4x squared plus 4x. Subtract both of those. These are going to cancel out. 3x minus 4x is negative x. Bring the negative 1 down. Divide the first term by the first term. Gives me negative 1. Multiply this times both of these. And subtract both of those. They're both going to cancel out. So this is our answer right here. It's hard to circle one-handed. That's the answer. Number 2, I'm going to use long division because I have to, because this is a squared. So divide the first term by the first term, gives me 2x squared. Multiply this times both of these, 4x to the fourth, plus 8x squared. Subtract both of those. I wrote this way over here because you have to combine like terms. So I don't have an x to the third here. These cancel out. So the negative 12x to the third just comes down. This subtracted is going to give me 16x squared. And I might as well bring everything else down as well. Divide the first term by the first term is going to give me negative 6x. Multiply this times both of these. Gives me negative 12x to the third minus 24x. Again, I lined it up kind of weird because I have to combine like terms. These are going to cancel out and these are going to cancel out. The 16x squared just comes down and so does the 32. Divide the first term by the first term, gives me 8. Multiply this times both of these, 16x squared plus 32. Subtract them both, and these are both going to cancel out. So this is our answer. Go on to number 3. Number 3 also has a squared term, so I'm going to use long division. Divide the first term by the first term is going to give me 2x. Multiply that times both of these, gives me 8x to the third minus 32x. Subtract both of those. These cancel out and these cancel out. The negative 4x squared comes down. Might as well bring down the 16. Divide the first term by the first term is going to be negative 1. Multiply this times both of these. Negative 4x squared plus 16. Subtract these both. This cancels out and this cancels out. So this is the answer. This one I could change it to use synthetic division, but I'm just going to do long division. First term divided by first term is going to be 4x to the third. Multiply this times both of these. 8x to the fourth minus 4x to the third. These are going to cancel out. I don't have an x to the third on the one below it, above it, so it's going to be 0 minus negative 4, or 4x to the third. I'm just going to bring everything else down. Divide the first term by the first term is going to give me 2x squared. Multiply this times both of these is going to be 4x to the third minus 2x squared. Subtract this. These are going to cancel out. 6 minus negative 2 is going to give me 8x squared. Might as well bring everything else down. Divide the first term by the first term. It's going to be plus 4x. Multiply this times both of these. Give me 8x squared minus 4x. Subtract those. This is going to cancel out. This is going to give me positive 2x plus 4. Divide the first term by the first term. Gives me plus 1. Multiply this times both of these. 2x minus 1. Subtract that. These cancel out, and that gives me 5. I can't divide 5 by 2x plus 1, so it's a remainder. So I put it over what I'm dividing by, and this is my final answer. Number 5, I'm going to use long division. I could set it up to use synthetic as well, but it's going to give me fractions, so I'm going to use long division. Divide the first term by the first term, gives me 2x. Multiply this times both of these. Subtract them, these cancel out. This is going to give me positive 3x. Bring down the negative 5. Divide the first term by the first term. Multiply this times both of these. This is going to cancel out, and this is going to cancel out. So that's the answer. Number 6 is asking me to factor it. So since there's 4 terms, I'm going to factor by grouping. What can I divide out of both of these is an x squared, which leaves me with x plus 1. What can I divide out of both of these is negative 1, which leaves me with x plus 1. Since these are the same, it's one factor. What's on the outside becomes the other factor. This is the difference of two squares, so it's going to become x plus 1, x minus 1. And the x plus 1 that I already had needs to come down. So this one comes down here, and this becomes both of these. This is the final answer. The next one, this is the difference of two cubes, but I need to set it up so it's something cubed minus something cubed. This is going to be 5 times 5 times 5. So that's in the form a cubed minus b cubed becomes a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. My a is x, so it's going to be x minus my b is 5, x squared plus 5x plus 25. That's as far as I can go. That's the answer. The next one I have 4 terms, so I'm going to factor by grouping. What I can get out of here is just an x, which leaves me with 8x cubed minus 27. What I can factor out of this is just a 1, which leaves me with 8x to the third minus 27. These are the same, so they become one factor. And what's on the outside becomes the other one. This is actually the difference of two cubes. It would be 2x to the third minus 3 to the third. So I'm going to put this in the same, using the same formula that I just used. 2x minus 3 times 2x squared is going to be 2x times 2x, or 4x squared. 2x times 3 is going to be 6x, and 3 squared is going to be 9. I can't forget the x plus 1 that I already had. And I can't go any farther. This is my answer. Number 9, it gives me one of the factors. So when it gives me one of the factors, I'm going to use synthetic division to see what I'm left with. So I just set it up. The 4 comes down and I multiply. Add these and I multiply. Add these and I multiply. Add these and I multiply. The reason that I have 2 zeros here is because there's no x to the third and there's no x. Since this was x to the fourth, this becomes x to the third, x squared, x, and I have no remainder. Now I have 4 terms though, and it tells me to factor completely. So since there's 4 terms, I'm going to factor by grouping. What I can get out of this is a 4x squared, which leaves me with x plus 3. What I can get out of this is an 81, which leaves me with x plus 3. These are the same, so they're going to become one factor. What's on the outside is going to become the other one. A lot of people are going to think that we can go further with this, but this is the sum of two squares, and there's nothing more you can do with the sum of two squares. We already factored out an x minus 3. It was already told to me that it was a factor, so I need to list that as well. And this is the final answer. The last one, I see that there's an x in both of them, and these are both divisible by 2, so I'm going to factor out the greatest common factor of 2x to the third, which leaves me with x to the third minus 27. This is the same thing as x to the third minus 3 to the third. What's on the outside doesn't change. So this is the difference of two cubes. So this is going to become x minus 3, x squared, plus 3x, plus 9, and my 2x to the third needs to come down as well. That's the final answer. And that's how you do all of them.